Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Josh.
Today, we're going to teach you about some very interesting things that all have to do with conflicts.
These include things like culture, the scapegoat theory, the contact theory, and superordinate goals.
Let's start with culture. Culture is the ideas, attitudes, traditions, and behaviors that are common among a large group. They are passed down to future generations and are often consistent over time. These shared beliefs and attitudes can unite a group, but they also differentiate groups from each other.
Can't the concept of culture be seen in the movie Elf? Let's go take a look.
Don't you know each cloud contains manners from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. And every time it rains, it rains. And don't you know it's crocodile? And every time it rains, it rains. And don't you know it's crocodile? You'll find your fortune falling all over town, all over town, all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. We live up.
Buddy was not familiar with the bustling city culture in New York, so he was clearly an outsider that didn't fit in with their customs and routines. Buddy was used to the culture present at the North Pole, but these routines were considered strange in New York.
So because Buddy is from a different culture, this is why people in New York find his actions to be so strange?
Exactly. Let's talk about the scapegoat theory next.
Scapegoat theory is when a bad event occurs and we fall back on our prejudices and blame someone for the unfortunate event. This directs our anger towards someone else, creating an outlet for our frustration.
This was seen in history with the Salem witch trials.
The residents of Salem Village were dealing with the harsh reality of rural Puritan life, where they were handling the aftermath of the British War with France and the colonies, a smallpox epidemic, and constant fear of an attack from local Native Americans and outsiders.
During this hard time, they found a scapegoat in 3 girls by accusing them of being witches and influenced by the devil. These girls and the other villagers accused of being witches were not responsible for the hardships of rural Puritan life, but the residents directed their resentment towards them as a way of dealing with their frustration.
Josh, can we talk about the contact theory next?
That's a good idea.
Contact theory is the phenomenon in which people who interact with each other are less likely to develop prejudices towards one another's culture, race, or nationality. Exposure to certain beliefs and ideals in a situation in which both people are represented and regarded equally leads to acceptance.
Gordon Allport is the one who proposed this theory. A key part of contact theory is that both groups must be equal. In 2003, researchers conducted research on the hypothesis in which they analyzed how contact theory affects racial prejudice against African Americans in sports. Whites who played sports on a team with African Americans were compared to whites who played individual sports, and it was found that those with contact to African Americans were in general less prejudiced, confirming contact theory.
In addition, the movie, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, depicts how contact between people can cause prejudices to decline. Bruno, a German, and Shmuel, a Jew, become friends during the Holocaust after contact with each other. The boys are the same age, and despite having different circumstances, they bond over similarities. As a result, Bruno breaks from his parents' discrimination towards Jews and develops a strong friendship.
Children elucidate the contact theory because oftentimes when children play together, they disregard any prejudices and discriminations that their parents may have taught them.
Finally, let's discuss superordinate goals.
Yay! Superordinate goals allow 2 conflicting groups to unite while working towards the same outcome.
Muzaffar Sharif tested this in his experiment.
Muzaffar Sharif conducted an experiment known as the Robbers Cave Study, in which he analyzed two groups of boys in conflict for limited resources. Random boys who had not known each other previously united in two separate groups. However, conflict between the two groups for resources led to violence.
During the integration phase, researchers introduced the opportunity for contact between the two groups, such as various forms of entertainment, but this worsened pre-existing conflicts. It was not until Sharif introduced superordinate goals such as water scarcity that both groups interacted in order to achieve the goal.
In history, superordinate goals have been essential in the development of allies.
For example, in World War II, the United States and Soviet Union united to defeat the Nazis. Despite differing views regarding political systems, the US had a democratic system and the Soviet Union had a totalitarian system. Superordinate goals have been seen to be very effective in uniting conflicting groups.
Thanks for joining Maggie and I today.
We hope you learned a bunch about culture, the scapegoat theory, the contact theory, and superordinate goals. Hopefully, you can use the terms we taught you today to help you better understand conflicts and how to handle them better. Bye! See you next time!